3 red cards, 1 win for the host nation Mexico, a late winner for South Korea, and the Tartan Army arriving in their hordes across America. We'll have all that and loads more in today's daily edition of the Scotsman World Cup podcast. Hello and welcome to the Scotsman World Cup podcast, where we finally have some games to talk about after a week of build-up. For the next 15 to 20 minutes or so, I'm going to try and hold in my jealousy as I welcome 2 guests live from Boston. First and foremost, I'm delighted to be joined by Katherine Hays from Boston. How are you doing, Katherine?
All good. It's a little bit hot and very, very humid, sticky Boston.
It's been nice and cold here and raining, so fantastic. I'm also joined by our chief football correspondent, Alan Pattullo. Alan, you've been there for a few days now. How are you acclimatising?
Yeah, getting there, I think. Getting my sleep patterns back to something like normal. I'm speaking to you from a big hangar-like building on the outside of the Boston Stadium, the very sort of the misnomer that is the Boston Stadium, which of course is not anywhere near Boston. And we just had a media bus ride out to Foxborough, 45 minutes or so in the bus to get here. So it's I know the Tartan Army have been well warmed, but it is quite a journey.
So it's an adventure at the very least. But look, we've got loads of Scotland stuff to come on to. But first and foremost, Alan, the tournament got underway last night in Mexico. A big 2-1 win for the hosts over South Africa. Bizarrely, 3 red cards. First time in a long time that's happened. I'm not 100% sure I agree with all of them. But what did you make of the opening clash? And of course, that trio of red cards and just the games itself?
Well, yeah. Well, you say that I didn't actually watch the game because I was head down writing other things, and that's the thing about a World Cup. It's very much a Scotland bubble. It's almost as if, my colleagues were talking about this on the bus on the way here. It's almost like the tournament itself kind of it grinds on like without you almost. And I did catch a few minutes of the Mexico game at least, and it was a sign, possibly a less than positive sign of what's to come in terms of the red cards. It's people were saying that World Cups previously have gone without 3 red cards in the whole tournament. There we have it in the first game. So I really do hope it's not what's going to be the distinguishing trait of this tournament: red cards and soft red cards at that. But I'm sure Steve Clark would have been watching the game as well, and the players will be well warned before tomorrow night about over officious refereeing.
Yeah, I think there's only 4 in Qatar in total, so we're already at that tally already. But great moment for Raul Jimenez as well, 34 years of age, 35 even, I think actually recently. He just signed for Wolves, but his first World Cup goal. But Katherine, you yourself had a really hectic travel day yesterday from Scotland over to Boston. You have arrived. You've met multiple members of the Tartan Army whilst you've been on your travels. How's the atmosphere been, and how are the fans taking to Boston?
Yeah, it's been, you're right, it was quite a hectic journey. I flew from Edinburgh to Gatwick. There were quite a few Tartan Army soldiers on board that flight. And then, again, just these fans that are appearing from all over the world. There were more on the Gatwick to Reykjavik flight, and then even more arrived in Reykjavik, and a bunch of us got on the flight to Boston together. And I'd like to say I've had a few moments of just downtime whilst meeting and greeting fans, but it's impossible. I was wearing a football stripe yesterday, and if you're wearing one, you just group together and everyone's just celebrating already. It's really, really warm here in Boston just now. Can see a lot of Scottish fans around me just laying on the sun cream. And what I find really quite colourful about the experience so far is just all the different types of shirts. I know that there's obviously the national team set, and then there's the away kit, and obviously some previous international games as well. So lots of different colourful shirts. And then not to mention the kilts. There's an array of kilts marching around Boston as well. And last night when I got in very late, the streets were obviously filled with people having a few pints. And yeah, I could just overhear Americans saying how much they love the Scottish. So yeah, it's a very good atmosphere here so far, and looking forward to tomorrow really, because that's when it's all properly going to kick off.
Absolutely. I think I've personally been really excited for the videos. I've already seen one family have ordered or booked an Airbnb, and they've started at 6:30 in the morning with the bagpipes, which woke up all their American neighbours for the week, which is quite funny. But I've seen another video as well, Katherine, today, which I think the plane journey came over, and when he landed, he said, "I've got no complaints about the flight, apart from the fact we ran out of beer within 15 minutes, which he wasn't very pleased about." It sounds like they're in spirits, no pun intended, but the Boston natives, the Scotland fans, look like they're all packing out the bars. We've seen your videos already. Like, how out of those bars was Scotland, and how many people are actually over there that you've seen?
What, in terms of how many fans? I'm not sure. I was reading earlier that about 30,000 are expected to arrive. But yeah, it's impossible to put a number on it really, because I'd say that every second or third person walking down the street in Boston just now is someone wearing a Scotland shirt. So yeah, I'll get back to you with more numbers in terms of that. But I'm also at the City Hall Plaza in Boston, which is kind of one of the main fan zones. I understand people can't get in. They've completely sold out. It's at capacity, so for safety issues there, saying to people who are arriving and hoping to get a ticket on the door, including myself, to just find elsewhere. But Boston is absolutely alive, so I'm sure there'll just be created fan zones around, if not in the official area. But yeah, still going to go up and have a look and just see what's going on there when things kick off a bit later today.
Sounds like the perfect Scottish thing. Creative fan zones, exactly what I like to hear. But Alan, the football came on as well. We all got a little bit of a panic when we heard that one of two Scots were missing training. I think Scott McTominay being the obvious one. He had a bit of a stomach bug, and also Scott McKenna's missed some training this week. I think potentially all of it. But what's the latest on those two? Are we expecting them to be fit?
I think so. Certainly Scott McTominay, I think, has been training today. As I say, we're about to go and speak to Steve Clarke in about half an hour, so we'll get an update. But yeah, there was a certain amount of anxiety, I think, around. Although there was obviously a lot of revelry, I think amongst Scotland fans there was some anxiety as there was some news began to circulate that McTominay hadn't trained yesterday, and then there was a further report or a rumour that he hadn't travelled with the team from Charlotte to Boston, but he did in fact travel, but just got a separate bus, I think, from the airport to the hotel. So he didn't get off the team bus with the rest of his teammates. So that caused some alarm, I think. But I think they just wanted to isolate him. Just you can't be too careful with him having a stomach bug. So he is in Boston. He is in the area, and he has trained today, I think. So I'm sure Steve Clarke will give us an update later on his fitness. But it was quite amusing last night. I think the SFA put out a picture last night, a photograph of Lawrence Shankland disembarking the plane, and then adjacent to it was a picture of Scott McTominay in a pair of shades. So although it wasn't quite obvious where he was, it didn't suggest that he was in Boston, but we'll take their word for it. But yeah, I believe he has been training today, and you'd hope he'd be okay for tomorrow night's game. But of course, if you're not 100% fit, then playing in the searing temperature of heat as Boston, it's probably not what's required. So Steve Clarke might have to take a view on whether to start him or otherwise.
Yeah, huge miss if he was to miss out. So hopefully he doesn't. You talked about him being in any shades there. I think he's had such a glow up, not only on the pitch but also off the pitch, I think, over the past couple of years since he's been in Napoli. So we really want to see him on the pitch for that game. But if he's not fit, as you say. But Alan, I wanted to stick with you as well. Maybe bittersweet in some ways. Billy Gilmore's travelled over. I've seen that. Obviously devastating that he's not part of it, and he's obviously going to be absolutely sick. But really good to see him over there, so he can at least experience, some of what he would have experienced if he was fully fit. And obviously it's not the same thing, but it's good to see, isn't it, just to see that he's over there with the boys.
Yeah, it's a nice touch, isn't it, to I think Steve Clark revealed revealed last week when they were in Miami that he had been invited over, that they were hoping he would make it over. Of course, it was up to Napoli, I think. He's gone back to Italy to have the injury assessed. And, you did wonder whether they would allow him to come over on a long flight to the States. But he's here, and I think it was his birthday yesterday when he touched down in Boston. So, yeah, I'm not saying he's here to party with Tartan Army, but I think he's here just to sort of get a taste of what a World Cup is like. And I think, as Kenny McLean said yesterday at his press conference, you'll have other opportunities, we hope. And I know that probably isn't, that's not going to help him just now, but there will be other tournaments in the future. So it's nice for him just to be here and get a taste of it and see his teammates. And I'm sure he'll be obviously be in the crowd tomorrow night.
I think, to be fair to him, I'm sure he'll be professional and won't take my advice, but if he wants to go out and party, I think we'll forgive him. Why not? Katherine, you touched on before about the fans being there. Obviously, there's a big atmosphere over there. We can see it, we can hear it sort of coming through, even just speaking to yourself. But how confident the fans feeling? It's a big old game tomorrow. The fans, I think, know that a win's almost essential because of the games against Morocco and Brazil being so tough, and Scotland want to get through to the knockout stages for the first time. Is there a feeling of confidence with the fans?
Very much so. I mean, everybody I've spoken to, I'd say at least half is saying Scotland's going to win the whole tournament altogether. So that's obviously incredibly confident. And yeah, I would say the Haiti game, most people... somebody said a squeaky bum 1-0 to Scotland, so see about that. And yeah, I think most people feel like we'll do quite well with the Haiti game. And then what are the predictions have been that I think, maybe draw Morocco, and who knows with Brazil. I think some fans are not really wanting to talk about potentially being beaten at this stage when it's still so exciting and people just really want them to win. But yeah, I've also spoken to a couple of fans who've already booked themselves a place in Glasgow to stay for the Victory March in July. So that's obviously when, Scotland wins the World Cup. But yeah, no, the fans have been really, really positive. I think part of it, from what I understand anyway, just being fairly new on the scene when it comes to the Tartan Army myself, but that, the whole point of coming over is to show the team that you're there for them and to support them, to show Steve Clark that, Scotland really is behind the team and everything that he's doing. He's lots of fans have been singing his praises, to be honest. And so, yeah, it's sort of just being positive is just part of it, really, by the looks of things. And there have been kind of more detailed discussions on exact predictions, but I would say overall everybody's just feeling like Scotland are going to do really well. I mean, they've already done so well, haven't they, to get here? So yeah, it's I think it's all very positive at the moment. And I think just on the players, I think McTominay, a t-shirt which I'm wearing today, he seems to be touted as one of the favourites in terms of who's going to do well and kind of make the team shine. So I guess there's not really a surprise there.
Fantastic. As long as you bring me one back, Katherine, I'll be more than happy for you to enjoy yourself over there. Not jealous at all. But Alan, before we finish, I think it makes just total sense for the game. It's going to be tomorrow/Sunday, whatever you want to call it. It's in 24 hours, give or take. What's your score predictions for tomorrow, Alan?
This last night in the restaurant, we were having a quick bite to eat, and there was a sort of a variety of moods, some pessimism, some optimism. I think I veer towards the latter. I'm definitely optimistic. I think Scotland will win 2-0, 2-1. I think it'll be tough. It'll be tough, but I think Scotland will get the win that we all, I think, agree they need if they want to have any ambition of reaching the second stage for the first time.
Absolutely. Look, that's all for today. I think the next step is to actually speak about the Scotland game and the thing itself. But as always, thanks very much first and foremost to our listeners and our viewers. And of course, to Katherine and Alan over there in Boston. If you've enjoyed this week's set of shows, we'll be recording every single day of the tournament. So why not give us a like, share with your friends if you like. And if you really want to, you can also subscribe to the show. Katherine, Alan, thanks very much. Enjoy your night and enjoy the rest of the weekend.